Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce. Continuing on with Conference Championship Weekend, let's roll with the Big 12. We got Oklahoma State versus Texas. Texas is now laying 15.5 points. That number's been bet up from 14. Total sitting at an even 55. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
Public's actually pretty split even on this one. Sharp Action is slightly leaning towards Texas, but it looks like they really hit Texas hard at the 14. Since the number's been rising, it looks like the action's evening out. So this is it. Texas Longhorns last game in the Big 12. They get their shot to leave the conference on top. A lot of people don't realize this, but Texas hasn't won the Big 12 in 14 years. 2009 with Colt McCoy at quarterback. That's the last time Texas won this conference. As far as Oklahoma State goes, you remember early in the season when Mike Gundy pulled a complete 180 with this team? Oklahoma State started rolling. Well, it's looking like they did another 180. Look at Alan Bowman's numbers in the last 3 games. 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, compared to 6 and 2 in the previous 4 games. And you want to know who those previous games were against? BYU, Houston, and UCF. 3 of the worst pass defenses in the Big 12. Bowman's been really struggling. Now he's going to see Texas, probably the best pass defense in the conference. They're 19th in effective pass, 85th in passing yards per game allowed. That's mostly because they spent a lot of the season with a big lead. 32nd in yards per pass attempt allowed. If you look at the recent games for Texas, though, they did completely blank Texas Tech. But the 3 before that, they allowed over 300 yards passing in each game. And all 3 games were close. It's not like these were blowouts. Those were close games. Now, to be fair to the Texas defense, those 3 games were against Kansas State, TCU, and Iowa State. Those teams ranked 26th, 10th, and 15th in effective pass. So those are tough passing offenses to stop. Oklahoma State's back at 43rd. Not quite as explosive as those other passing offenses. But the problem is, it's not just the Oklahoma State passing attack that's fallen off. Look at the run game. That was the backbone of that Oklahoma State during their little hot streak there. Ollie Gordon was killing it. OK State has averaged just 3.7 yards per carry in their last 4 games, compared to 6.7 in the previous 4. And look at how these teams have fared trying to run the ball in this Texas defense. When was the last time Texas allowed 4 yards per carry or more on the ground? October 7th, the Oklahoma game. Looking at these numbers, it's really tough to trust the Oklahoma State offense in this spot. They need to run the ball because their quarterback's been struggling and nobody's been running the ball in Texas. And on the other side of the ball, how can we trust this Oklahoma State defense right now? They're 104th in effective pass, 124th in total yards per game allowed, 124th in effective rush. This defense has been pretty much awful a majority of this season. John Reese Plumlee lit this defense up. Dylan Gabriel lit this defense up. I mean, sure, let's be honest. Quinn Ewers has struggled a little bit since returning from injury. He hasn't quite been perfect, but he was on the road at Iowa State, on the road at TCU. Then they played Texas Tech. Those are some pretty solid defenses there. Look at the recent Oklahoma State games. And by the way, these were meaningful games. OK State needed these wins. They were struggling to make stops against UCF, Houston, and BYU. On paper, there's just no way I could trust this defense. But there's one huge factor we're leaving out here. Mike Gundy's got Sarkisian's number. He's 2-0 against Texas since Sarkisian took over. Now, I know this year's Texas team is better than the last couple years, but coaching is huge in college football. And we're talking about laying 15.5 points against a coach he couldn't even beat in back-to-back years. And if you take a look at the recent games from Texas offense, they've been relying on the run game. They've got a solid rushing attack. They're 27th in effective rush, 23rd in rushing yards per game, and 27th in yards per carry. Keep in mind, Oklahoma State's defense, 3rd in effective rush. 3rd. Beta Rank has them as the 3rd highest ranked run defense in the FBS. Now, you might be wondering how they're ranked so high without having the best stats, but this Oklahoma State team had a stretch of schedule where they played Kansas State, Kansas, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma. What do all those offenses have in common? They're all top 30 rushing attacks, and Oklahoma State beat them all, 5-0 in that stretch. I think Mike Gundy's going to make Quinn Ewers beat him through the air, and you know what? Maybe he will. Texas will probably get the win, but 15.5, that's just too many. I'm trusting Mike Gundy. I'm trusting the head coaching advantage here. I think this is a close game. Give me Oklahoma State plus 15.5. If you want our top bets for all sports, parlays of the day, or you want to join our Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information is right there on the homepage. Conference Championship Weekend. NBA, NFL, a lot of action. Remember to bet responsibly. Let's have a good one. I'll talk to you in the Discord.